If it's a day called today, we're talking guitars and life. Let's get into it.
Well, alright my friends, we have copacetically leveled and crowned and polished our guitar frets. Oh man, I do believe, my friends, that I am down to my last lizard spit pad. So I guess the next one we'll do steel wool. Alright. Yeah, so in the fast forward vid, I did copacetically level all these frets. I used my Guyker sanding beam and 400 grit sandpaper to level everything. And then you probably noticed, maybe you didn't, maybe you did, that after I did that, I did check all the frets. Had a couple that were needing some attention. So I went after those a little bit, handled that business up quick, fast, and in a hurry. And then I did tape the board up. Now, if it were my guitar and I was just going to keep it around the shop, I probably would not tape the board up, because I like a good guitar neck. I'm not so much about the cosmetic. However, I'm not sure what's going to become of this guitar. I'm not sure who's going to inherit it at some point down the road. So I figured I would preserve the neck finish as much as I could for their sake. Maybe they will appreciate that. Maybe they won't, Jack. I don't know. But I tell you what, these frets will be shiny and leveled and crowned and polished, baby. They sure will. So after I taped the board up, I then went at this with my foam sanding pads. And we did a little 320 action. 320 to 400. We did 500 to 600. We did 800 to 1,000. Then we did 12 to 1,500. Then we did a little bit of 2,000. Then we did 2,500 for the win, Jack. We are topping all that off with a product called Lizard Spit. You can find it on the Zon. Dylan Talks Tone sells a version of something like this on his channel, I believe. You can check that out if you'd like to do that. One of the things that I picked up, actually from picked up from Torsten over at Tease Guitars one day. He was working on some frets and he was trying to get scratches out of the frets. And he said, you know, sometimes if you go diagonal with it, that helps you to get all the scratches. So you may or may not have seen me going on the diagonal a couple of times. Figured it couldn't hurt. I did notice in the last vid when I did this, my chair is super squeaky when I do this. So I do apologize if that's annoying, or if I'm annoying. Yeah, guys, well, this will timestamp the video for you. So today is the day that the folks over at Fretnot, Rob and Colton, posted the vid about the Leo James Strat that RJ's Cave, JMK 2112 and I sent over to Fretnot for a giveaway. And man, I was blown away. I was humbled. I was kind of taken aback a little bit. Rob said in that video, he said, man, this is the third guitar we've gotten. Now, truthfully, candidly, the LP style, LP Junior, Leo, Scorpion, BBM did all the setup work on that initially. Okay, all I did was put a pure tone output jack in it and, you know, clean it up, send it off to him. So BBM gets all the credit for the Scorpion. But he talked about the first Squier, which was the first giveaway guitar, which I'd worked on. And he was talking about the Seafoam Green Strat, the Leo Strat. And he said, man, this guitar is set up I forget the words that he used, but let's just say that it was very humbling for me. He's very kind. He was very gracious. Talked about what a great setup the guitar had, and it was funny. They kind of started the vid, and they were saying, you know, man, this isn't your typical budget guitar, you know, and it was almost like they were talking up Leo James. And I was sitting there watching the vid, and I thought, man, it's not the brand. It's all the setup work I did, Jack. And then sure enough, before the vid was over, he was talking about the playability of the guitar, and he was talking about that guitar neck being so smooth and easy to play and not having any high frets or fret buzz or anything. And man, I just really, it was a joy, man. I don't know who's going to win that guitar, man, but I hope whoever it is really, really digs it, Jack. I sure do. All right, guys, so when I taped up this board, I put a long piece of tape here on both sides, and then I went horizontal with it. And I tried not to over tape. So if I do this right, in theory, I should get to a point where I should be able to lift this one long piece. And when I do that, all of these short pieces, for the most part, except for that one, that one, that one, and that one, should come with it. Now, part of the reason that I encounter this is that I go a little bit hard in the paint on the sides of those frets. Again, that's my player preference. I just don't like to feel any speed bumps when I'm going up and down the neck. So I tend to go a little bit heavy on the sides of the fingerboard, and when I do that, I can burn into that tape, which makes it a little bit harder to get off, but I think it's worth it just for the playability of the guitar. But put in the comments, guys. You tape necks all the time. You got one of those fancy apparatus like J-Man has. I think it's a Music Nomad product. Jay, I keep talking about getting one of those, man. But you know what? If it's my guitar, particularly if it's a rosewood board or it's something I've bought used on the marketplace and it's just, you know, it's just kind of junky anyway, I won't tape my own boards up, particularly if they're, you know, rosewood or some kind of used something that I got on the marketplace. I generally will just roll with it, baby. Roll with it, baby. Copyright. Yeah, so I don't know, man. I haven't seen them give away the Leo Scorpion guitar yet. So I guess they're going to be doing that soon, and then I guess they'll do the Leo Strat, the seafoam green one, after that, I guess. Those guys give away a guitar every week, so part of their collaboration with us is, you know, man, they've got their own thing they're doing. You know, they don't exist to give guitars away that we work on. So I am aware of that, in case you're wondering. I think I will spray this down a little something, something. Guys, I've got guitar parts everywhere. I really, really do, man. That's not what I want. That's what I want. I got a little bit of a Sharpie on this bad boy. It's just a little Dunlap 01 cleaner prep. By the way, when you spray that, you don't want to breathe in at the same time. If I start coughing here in a minute, that'll be why. Well, if I start having a coughing fit, I will. You know, I always joke about not editing, and it's true. But if I have a coughing fit, you can believe that I will edit that out. There's no need for you to have to sit through that. Alright, now for this one, I'm going to do a little F1 oil. I would generally, yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Generally, I would use the Dunlop Ultimate Liminal, you understand, but this particular guitar, since it's since it's kind of a roasted maple scenario, I thought, well, man, let me just do a little F10 on this bad boy, which is my preference on a maple board. By the way, nothing that I do is prescriptive for anybody. I just share what I do, man. This is, my channel is just one man's journey. I'm not a luthier. I'm not a professional. I don't even play one on TV, Jack. All this channel has ever been is just my journey with all things guitars and life, man. And I have appreciated so much making a lot of good friends out here on the tube, man. Who knew that YouTube was a place where I could find some people who love guitar the way I do and want to hang out and talk about it and work on guitars or learn to, like I'm doing. Yeah, some of these frets are still a little, they're not exactly perfect, guys. Not exactly perfect. But again, that's the price that you pay, in my opinion, for taping the board up. If you tape the board up, you really can't get to the edges of those frets as much as I would like to. But, you know, man, pay your penny, take your pick, I guess, guys. Do what works for you. That's the moral of the story. All right, my friends. What do you think? How's that look? Look all right to you? I think those frets look pretty good. They are leveled, they are crowned, they are polished. The reason that I wear gloves when I do this kind of thing is that sawdust and funk off those frets, and man, it can wreak havoc and ruin your day, man, on a mostly unfinished guitar neck. So that's kind of why I glove up for those kind of things. I gotta tell you, man, this is a pretty guitar neck. Now, I'm not gonna know how it plays until I get the guitar together, but just feeling of it, oh yeah, see, that's night and day, man, to me. That is night and day, Jack, for sure, for sure. I got a little bit of, this one's catching a little bit of that cloth. I don't much care for that. Well, you guys know me, man. I'm gonna tweak it offline, I'm sure. But see, okay, I'm gonna do the work offline, but I'm gonna say this, okay? I'm gonna say it one more time. The challenge with taping the board up is that you really can't get as close. Now, the downside to not taping the board up is you could scratch this finish. So that's just the kind of the price of admission, you know. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna do this for a little bit here, and we'll come back in the next one, and we will begin to work on the guitar a little bit more. Maybe we'll be able to do some, I don't know if we're going to be able to assemble it in the next one. So I've got to come back. I've got to drill the holes for my tuners. I think I have some ST1 18-to-1 locking tuners from Tease that T sent over to me a while back. I still got some of those laying around the shop. I'm going to throw some of those on here, I believe. The other option is Jeremy Strings and Pucks did that blonde neck that he didn't know if I could salvage or not. It did have some locking tuners on it. They did not appear to be great locking tuners at first glance. However, I did get some lube, and I did get a syringe. So I may grease those up, put them on there and see how they do, man. You know, I always like to try things before I chunk them. I don't just say, well, you know, it's not this or it's not that, I'm chunking it. I do actually. Those metal string trees, probably the one exception. That and those diamond tuners. Those diamond tuners and those string trees are, yeah, they're coming off any guitar that I have. Comes through my shop. But anyway, guys, it's all player preference kind of stuff, man. So I said I was going to do this off camera, didn't I? Yeah, but you say a lot of things. Oh, come on, man. Guys, critics are everywhere, man. Critics are everywhere. Yeah, that's much better. That's much better. And see, I'm just crazy enough to go down the side of that with some 320. Just because I can, Jack. You're ruining that finish. I'm not saying I'm ruining it. I am rounding the edges of that fingerboard. Oh, there, it looks like those Leo James necks I got in that were all jacked up. Because somebody had done that to him. Yeah, that's much better. Function over fashion, my friends. Well, if you were going to do that, Ted, why did you tape the board up? I don't know, guys. I guess it depends on my knucklehead. Guess I'm just a knucklehead, guys. I just, you know, I did all that work, but if the frets are going to catch that rag, Jack, they ain't right yet. So I'm going to make them right. That's what I'm going to do. And I do like to round the edges of any fingerboard that I have on the guitar. So, and when you do that, you always take a little bit of skin off. And that's why they sell True Oil. And that's why I've got a little bit of Gunstock 325 laying over there somewhere. All right, there you go. Yeah, I feel good about that. I feel pretty good about that. Now you tell me, from the 22nd row, you see any difference? Yeah. If you looked really, really hard right here, I'll point it out. Right there and right there and right there. Yeah. You can see a little discolorization, but for the most part, guys, that is a nice guitar neck. It feels pretty good. Those frets are gliding. They're shiny as all outdoors. Well, guys, that's going to do it for, and my rag is not catching anymore. So there you go. All right, my friends. Well, I think that's going to do it for this one, guys. I can't thank y'all enough for hanging out with me, spending any time at all talking about guitars and life. Special shout out to our Jacks, our channel members, and for all of you for any time at all that you were hanging out with me today, man. Put in the comments, what do you think about the project? Any thoughts, tidbits? What would you do, man? Yeah, what would you do differently? What would you do the same? Yeah, man. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it. You guys are the best.
Well, as always, wherever you are in your guitar journey, I pray it's a long, smooth, safe, joy-filled ride for you, Jack. Hey, rock on with your bad selves, everybody. Catch you down the road.